All right, welcome in everybody. So we are getting started now with our next live stream here, our Christmas live stream, and very much looking forward to giving away this final flute today. So I hope you enjoy everything else that we have going on today. So I need to close this, close that, and pull up the questions for today for our live stream. Let's see. Okay. Gotta go to our file here. So I hope everybody's having a wonderful Christmas break if you have one. If you do not have one, I hope that you are able to find some time off to be with family. There we go. And we do have a winner, by the way. And so we have a winner. I've already chose them. ChatGPT has chosen them. So very much excited for that person. I don't know how to name that person because their screen name's a little bit weird. But that's a problem for me, not for them. And but they have been a member for quite some time, actually. So I think it's going to the right place. Now, the main thing is that person also has a week to pick up the flute. And if they don't, well, then we give it away a different time. And maybe what will happen, so this is what will happen this time. All right, so last time the person didn't pick it up, and so we moved it to December. So let's say that this person doesn't pick up the flute. What are we going to do this time? So what we'll do next time then is we'll do a double giveaway. So on January, the last Monday of January, we'll give away both flutes on the live stream. And so yeah, the person who is the winner has 7 days to pick it up, as it were. And there it is. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started because even though a lot of people join the live stream right from the beginning, it starts to fill up a little bit later, and then also there's people who watch it afterwards, so no need to dilly-dally. Okay, so first question is, hi Taidu, what inspired you to start playing the shakuhachi? So when I was in college, well, actually even before college, I was really into classical music, primarily violin and viola music, and I also wanted to be a composer. I wanted to go to school, get my composition and degree in music theory, and I was actually hoping to have like a university position as a composer and writing music and teaching and stuff like that. So while I was in college in Wisconsin, I basically just, from an old back injury from when I was a kid, just started getting worse and worse, and it made it so I just couldn't play viola or violin that much. So I put that aside and stopped playing. And during that time, I heard the shakuhachi, and with its name actually attached to it, and I thought, wow, that's the instrument that I've heard all the time, like from animations, from film scores to Hollywood films, and just like the world of Japan was all in the sound of shakuhachi. And so the composer side of me wanted to learn shakuhachi to grab its, the DNA of it. So through the DNA of shakuhachi, I would compose music and write music based on its sonorities, on its pitch collection, on its tone and everything, and I did that. But as I was studying, well, that's basically how I picked shakuhachi and whatnot. So there you go. That's how that happened. So thank you very much for that question. And to further just elucidate a little bit more onto it, like how did I become a professional after that? Well, it was actually serendipitous. Basically, I started getting calls to do performances, and I wasn't even looking for it. I wasn't asking for any of those. And even some of the performances I turned down, I said, I'm not really interested in performing, and they're like, yeah, but we'll pay you. And I said, okay, well then I'll be there. And that was the end of it right there. Okay. Okay, here's a technical question. And also, please feel free to utilize the live stream questions, the chats there. Happy to answer any questions you have about shakuhachi over this time that we're going to be. I will announce the winner right at 8:30, so that's going to be in 30 minutes. So in 30 minutes, I will announce the winner. So if you're watching this video post live stream and you're wanting to go right to who the winner is, go around the 30-minute mark. It should be like 35 minutes then, right? 35-minute mark, you'll be able to find who the winner is. But I hope you stay for all of it to, maybe a question that you've had about shakuhachi looming over you like a dark cloud is going to be answered today. Okay, so here's a couple technical questions that we have from the Discord. What is the difference between jinashi and jiari shakuhachi? So this is a question that gets asked all the time, and I don't mind answering it again and again, because I think the more people that know the difference, the more people that can answer it, the less problems or less confusion is going to cause people in the future. So it's always good to answer these questions again and again. The difference between jiari and jinashi shakuhachi is as follows. There is a paste called ji, and this ji paste is made up of three substances. The first thing is water. The second thing is urushi, which is lacquer, Japanese lacquer. And then the third thing that they use is tonoko, which is kind of like a cement powder. And it is all mixed together, and it kind of creates this sort of light brown gooey paste. And that gooey paste goes on the inside of the shakuhachi to shape the bore, right? So to shape the inside of the instrument. And that's what creates the profile for the sound of the instrument. Now, because it's a very hard substance, it helps it resonate more. You get more accurate pitch, louder sounds, and so on and so forth. So that's a jiari. That paste that's used on the inside is called jiari. Now, a jinashi has none of that. So ari means to have, or it exists, and nashi means it is not or does not exist. So jinashi would then mean there is none of that paste. Now, interestingly, back in like the 50s and 60s, you would actually have to differentiate a jinashi from a jiari by saying it's a jiari. If you just said shakuhachi, they would have assumed that it was jinashi. Jiari was something that was newer compared to most of the flutes that were being made. So there you go. That's the difference between jiari and jinashi. So thank you for the question. I'll probably answer that question every single day if we do a live stream, and I'll be happy with it because it's important to know that difference. How does the length of shakuhachi affect its sound or pitch? So as the flute gets longer, the flute's going to get lower. The standard side is the 1.8. So the 1.8 stands for 1 shaku and 8 sun, and it's also where the shakuhachi gets its name from. And if we take a slightly shorter shakuhachi, this is a ishaku rokusun. You can see how it's a little bit shorter here. And so the lower flute is pitched in D, the Western equivalent to D, and the upper flute is pitched in the Western equivalent of E natural. And they go fairly long and they go fairly short. So you can get anything from like a 0.9 or like a 1.1. I've seen those. And then you can go all the way up to a 3.6, which is basically a 1.8 times 2, right? And that'll also be pitched in D. What's the process of crafting a shakuhachi, and how long does it typically take? Oh, okay. So I will preface this that I'm not a maker, but I do know a fair amount about the making process. So if you're talking start to finish, right, you're going to go out into the bamboo woods, and you're going to harvest your own bamboo, and then bring it back to the shop. Take out all of the oils, take out all of the waters, then let it dry, and then after that you're going to put it in the storage unit and wait for the 5 years, and then you're going to make the instrument. you're looking at about a 6 to 7 year process, right? Now, let's say you already have all the materials, the bamboo's already dried, and you're ready to make a flute. Okay, if you're very, very proficient with all the materials and all the making methods, you could make one in 3 months. I think that would be a fair assessment. I think you can make it in 3 months. But that's somebody who knows all the techniques really well. Now, to make now when people say to me like how long does it take? Let's say Nick from Honon Shakuhachi. How long does it take Nick to make a shakuhachi at that quality? 20 years. As it takes 20 years to build up all the skill to do that. How long will it take me to learn this piece of music? To play it at the level that you play it? 15 years. Right? It's that's how long I've been practicing and working on stuff, and that's how long it takes. Or if you take all of the musical career, well then 28 years, because it takes all of that musical experience, right? So all the experience that maker has making flutes, working with bamboo, all of that combined takes it. But just raw numbers of the actual crafting process itself, I would say probably about 3 months for a jiari, 6 months for a jinashi flute. Jinashi flutes are much more difficult to make. That's why they're a lot more expensive too. Can you talk about the Taidu Jinashi 1.8 carbon fiber shakuhachi? Yes, I will. We're still in the process of it. Let me grab one. So, I love the flute so much. It's really a fantastic instrument, and it's really fun to play. I've had a bunch of people try them out, and people really like them. So, again, it's just a matter of just getting a product that we're really, really happy with. Okay, so I know that some people are really wanting it and they want it now. I get it. I want it now too. But I also want something that Nick and I are really proud of, right? And then we are really proud of this instrument. But what we mean by it is we want it so when you go to your hands that you feel like you've got a steal. With my content on YouTube, so the membership, for example, I put the price at it so low that I make money off of it, but I'm not making a lot of money. Because I want the person, when they join the membership, that when they see everything that they get, they're overwhelmed. And they can't believe the prices that they're getting it for. Like, that's what I want. And the prices won't change. The prices are going to stay as they are. Good morning, Herbert. I hope you're doing well. So, same thing with that, right? You get access to so many videos. Right, so let's think of like the highest level, right? The $24.99 Okuden level. It's almost like over 300 videos. So you're getting it for less than a penny per video. So there you have it. Same thing here. We really want it so that this flute is something that when you pick it up in your hands and you hold it, you go, wow, this is worth more than what I paid for. So our Jinashi flute will be coming out sooner than later. So please stay patient as you can, and it'll be here when it gets here. All right, Herbert Haas says, or ask, is there a rule when to use E instead of kan no ro, and do the notes between kan and daikon have the same name and symbols? Okay, so the first thing that I will recommend here, and I actually have to pull this up because our in-house studio producer is not here today. Normally I would have him do this. So bear with me a second. I'm going to send you the fingering chart specifically for the first book. And so you can basically, if you go to this link that I'm leaving in the chat right now, I have a fingering chart that you can download for free on my website. There's two of them actually. There's one that's a beginner one, and then there's one that is the pro one. So the beginner one goes systematically along with the first book that I teach, and it gradually reveals all of the fingerings. My professional fingering chart has every fingering in it, all the way from Otsu all the way up to Daikon. It even has some of the alternate and special fingerings at the bottom, but even that list is not exhaustive. It's not complete, but it's pretty much everything. I would say it's like about 98 to 99% of the fingerings. The beginner one is the one I just sent you, Herbert, and this one will have both of those differences on there. It shows you all the symbols and what they look like as well on the music. Now, to answer your question about E and roll, yes, there is a rule of when to use them, and it's when the character is written, right? So when that character E is written, you'll play the note E. When the character Ro is written, you'll play Ro. Now, there will be some times in the music where you might have an option. For example, in the piece Sandan no Shirabe, they have it written as something like, but I already know this particular set phrase that happens in the music, so I go here. So I actually use the E there because it makes more sense to do so. So there are going to be some times when you can do it, but honestly, your teacher will explain that when that time comes. So for example, if you're watching like my YouTube series, I talk about that as well. And so for the most part, and for your last question where it says, do note symbols between kan and daikon have a name and have the same name, the same symbols, and so on? For the most part, yes. But you will run into some differences. For example, and this is also only within like our notation, right? So when you're looking at Kinko and Dokyoku scores, the Ri in the lower octave is the same pitch as the He in the upper octave, but they're two separate characters. Okay? Now, in other schools, it's not, right? In Tozan school, Ha and Ha are the same. Ha in the lower octave and Ha in the upper octave are both the same pitch, same fingering, and they only make a difference. The differentiation is done through the kan and the otsu symbol that are found in the score. So, but great question, and this is one that can confuse a lot of people. So I'm glad that you asked it. Blah blah blah. Yow. Yow to you too. So if you're interested, download that fingering chart. It will help, and just keep watching through the series, and you'll get that information out pretty quickly. Ri also serves as an area to know when to go into kan and when to stay into otsu. That's a kind of a pivotal place in the shakuhachi's tessitura, or it's like its range, right? The range of the otsu register and the range of the kan register. So Ri serves as a pivot note very often to going up into kan and then to going down into otsu in the classical honkyoku music. Which, by the way, the name honkyoku is actually a new name. Back in the day, in the Edo era, they called their pieces kyoku, and that's it. Just they called them piece, shakuhachi piece. So it's kind of similar to like in the Western classical world when we say classical music. Well, they actually never called their own music. Like Mozart never called his own music classical music. He called it galant music. Okay. What are some of the top challenges beginners face when learning to play the shakuhachi? Making a sound. I think that would be the one. Now some people say that like it's also like not being able to read the notation and stuff like that. But really the notation's not that hard. And I know that some people might say, well, yeah, but it's in Japanese and whatever. Yeah, but I mean, if you really think about it, there's only, like, if you're starting through my system, like, okay, so let's say you do this, right? Let's say I'm going to learn all of the symbols for shakuhachi in an afternoon. Okay, yeah, then it's very hard. But let's say you go with my system and you start with the first piece and you only need to know 6 symbols. Okay, well, 6 symbols is much easier to learn than, like 50. And our in-house producer is here, HSBP, joining in the top chat. Welcome in. Looking forward to having you come over tomorrow. But back to my thing. So you have these 6 symbols. That's much easier to learn than saying I'm going to learn all 100 symbols and all of the characters that go along with it. So I don't think that the reading the music is that big of a barrier. If you're learning the piece, like, or learning all the notations systematically and like chunk by chunk. Okay, so in about 15 minutes, we're going to be giving away this flute. So if you're not in the membership, join the membership. It's not only going to be this flute, we're also going to be giving another one away next month, so it's worthwhile to sign up for the membership now. I'm talking to you, blah, blah, blah. You're here at like every live stream, and you're not a member yet. I don't know whether to be insulted or extremely overjoyed that you're here all the time, right? So, but I mean, I love you, brother. I'm glad you're here. Glad you're interested in the shakuhachi. So, overjoyed? Okay, I'm overjoyed. Overjoyed that you're here. So, anyways, we're giving away this flute. So stay tuned. We're going to be announcing the winner in 15 minutes. And if you're still interested in winning a flute, you can also just go to or sign up for the membership now. And if you don't win it this time, there's a chance that you can win it next time. There's no repeat winners. Dragon Energy, one of the most badass names on this channel. Dragon Energy. Hi there. Is it okay to play cross fingerings even if that's not what's written? Okay. So what he means by this is saying, okay, like we have this note re. Is it okay to play the note ru? Or chidaimeri? Or something like that, right? Using a different fingering instead of what's written. Another really common one is like tsumeri or that note, right? So you have these multiple options of notes. Craig, good morning, mate. Another person who is here almost every single time, who is actually subscribed to the channel, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so cross fingerings. Yes, it's totally fine, right? Given that it's not honkyoku, right? So like it's for example, honkyoku, they're giving you specific fingerings because they're looking for color. And you definitely don't want to mess with that color. Or if you're going to do it, you're gonna need a really damn good reason to do so. But honkyoku is one of those things where I don't mess with fingering like that. If they're writing a himeri, there's probably a reason why they're writing himeri and not san no u. That's a huge color difference. But like, let's say you're playing, an anime song. Okay, no one's gonna come and find you for using a different fingering. Let's say if it's a contemporary piece. I'll give you my rule for contemporary music, right? And I got this rule from a high school orchestra director in Texas, who's an absolutely brilliant teacher. What she is able to get those kids to do is insane, right? I heard them play, what was it? I think it was either Shostakovich 4 or Shostakovich 7, and it was just insane. We're talking high school students playing Shostakovich. Like, that's not normal, okay? It was incredible in their violin section. Insane. But anyways, here's her rule about playing contemporary music. The composer can't find you if he's dead. Okay? So, if the composer's alive, do what's on the page, right? If the composer's dead, he can't track you down, it's okay to make some changes. So that's the rule. Good morning, Greg. All right. Let's look at some other questions here. The chat is open for questions. Please feel free to ask any questions you have. Can you describe different styles or schools, ryuha, of shakuhachi playing? So they're regional, and they have to do with their specific schools, or like their temple relation. Sometimes not. But the way to think about the schools is, think of it this way. In any country, in any language, you will always have regional accents or regional dialects. And shakuhachi is no different from that. Music is a language, and when you hear the players from the north, they have a specific flavor and accent and way of speaking on the shakuhachi. And then when you hear people from the south, they have a specific way of playing, talking, and acting. And so that's what you're basically getting from all of the different regions. So even neighbored regions. So for example, the Kinpuryu school and the Oshu school, or Oshu-kei, have very similar techniques that they implement. However, they are different. So Kinpuryu has komibuki, and Oshu has this sort of yuri like sound, and they end up sounding very similar. So this would be something on how like the ryuhas are different. Now, of course, they also have different pieces, they have different repertoire and so on. But like the general, like they're using similar, like they're using the same instrument styles, like the way that they have 4 holes in the front, 1 hole on back. They're all the shakuhachi. They're using the same scales and systems. They're just expressing it differently when it comes out of the instrument. What's my favorite piece to play on the shakuhachi? I don't have one right now. Do I have any memorable performance experiences that I can share? Yes, I do. So I had a student over once, and when my students come to stay here in Japan with me, we do a bunch of hiking. We do a lot of lessons, and the first night that we're here, I typically do a kind of sushi party with them. So we order a bunch of really nice sushi and some sake, and we sit down at the round table I have, and we eat sushi and drink sake for a couple hours. And we have our flutes with us, and the student will play something, and I'll play something, and my wife and family are there and everything. And so on one of these nights, I had a student who came over. And he asked me, he's like, I really want to hear I really want to hear you play something. And so I played Daha. And I'll tell you, it was the most magical Daha I've ever played in my life. And I've never played it that good again. It was a very special moment. There was, it's always those moments when there's basically only 2 people around. So at least I had 2 witnesses for it. But I remember after I was done playing it, even my wife was like, "You're really good." But like after that, it was never that good again. So I think it was a really special moment to play that Daha and have that performance. And so that student was Lucas, and Lucas will tell you, and I was like, "No, man, it was a whole nother level. It was something else, man." And it really was. It was a whole entirely just different performance and completely different level. And that's really in the moment playing. But I think that out of all of the things, it's those moments where it's not like you play for 1,000 people and that was so amazing to play for 1,000 people that one day. Now for me, it's these really magical experiences where you get to connect with a small audience, 1 or 2 people. You're just playing something and it ends up being this magical thing, and you get to share that memory. There's no there's no recording of it or no memory of it besides with those people, right? Christian Briggs, greetings everyone. Just wanted to wish you all a Merry Christmas and health and happiness to those you love. Amen to that. Yeah, absolutely. Hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas season, Happy New Year, and so on and so forth. All right. Dragon Energy, do you know any shakuhachi choirs? I love that video you have of 100 komuso playing on the hill. It sounds angelic. Okay. So he's talking about the movie called the Komuso Family Tree. It's an old movie from the 50s. And the plot is very weird, but at the end of the film, hundreds of komuso just come up over the hills, and they're all playing Honshirabe or Choshi, surrounding the people, avenging their fallen brethren. Not Komuro, Komuso. So there you go. You can check that out if you're interested. As far as shakuhachi choir pieces, there are like trios and quartets. The thing is that shakuhachi is not an instrument that's known for its in-tuneness. So you have to be, you just have to be very, very accurate when you're playing in groups. So for example, that duet that Yozan and I did, that like you're just not gonna find that kind of like stuff very often where it's just that in tune. And it's just because depending on like the shakuhachi itself, each shakuhachi has its own eccentricities. So, all right, blah blah blah. I was going to ask you about playing at an angle to bring down the in the upper, I think to bring down the pitch in the upper register, but I think I have that licked now, playing straight on. What do you think? Why play at an angle? Um, Please try to rephrase your question once again. it's I know you're probably like texting on your phone or something like that, and then like you're kind of like you're listening at the same time and then texting and listening at the same time, so you're missing some words in there. I'm gonna try to answer the question. Um, oh, you're talking about bringing the volume down. I wouldn't do it through changing the angle of the flute. By the way, if you haven't liked this video, like this video, share this video, make sure you subscribe, and if you're interested, hit that subscribe button, all that kind of stuff, and join the join button. So yeah, bringing down the volume. If you're gonna bring down the volume with playing shakuhachi, I would do it by pulling the breath back. So, meaning by that is that when you like the shape of the embouchure won't change. All I'm doing is just pulling the air back, right? I'm slowing it down. But what ends up happening is that most likely what you're doing is you're playing like that, and you have the mouth inadvertently opens, and you're going to try to pull out to the side here to raise the pitch while you drop the volume, right? So that's what I think what you're doing, but the issue with that is that you lose tone at the same time. So what I would say is focus on the embouchure shape and then just slowing the air down. All right, only 3 minutes until our flute giveaway. Let's see if we can answer a few more questions here. I definitely have the December sniffles. Oh, how do you introduce shakuhachi to students unfamiliar with Japanese music? The first thing I like to talk about is the difference in how rhythm is felt across East Asian music and Western music. So Western music is felt with the heartbeat, and Eastern music is felt with the breath. And so when students are first getting into shakuhachi and whatever, I recommend that a lot of people listen to shakuhachi music and breathe along with the player, and they'll get a sense of the timing. I think that would probably be my answer for that one. Dragon Energy. Secret of Naruto is cool too. Do you have a list of films that feature komuso and shakuhachi? Yes, I do actually. If you go to my my YouTube channel and you go to komuso and media, you'll see where they're in like video games and stuff like that. So let's do file, new window, go over here really quickly, and we can kind of go through a few of them. Because some of them are actually kind of surprising. Like, well, some of them are like oh duh, of course, like that would be there. But for example, did you know that in Bomberman there's a Komuso boss? Bet you didn't. Let's see, playlist. I've got a lot of playlists though, so finding these things always takes me like way too long. Okay, Technique series. Does anybody else use YouTube as like their own personal storage for like other videos? Like I have a bunch of family videos that are like private that are on my YouTube in their own little corner. Christian, you do that too? Okay, cool. So it's not just me. I do think a lot of people do that actually. Okay, why can I not find Komuso in media? Alright, I'll put the filter on. But, for example, there's a couple movies in there that also have what was his name? Blah 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 was mentioning, right? With the 100 Komuso. I think he mentioned that. So yeah, that's on that list too. All right. Here we go. So there's Komuso in old films. Oh, for example, Ryuga Gotoku Isshin. That video game also has Komuso in it. The Tenchu Z series, I don't remember which Tenchu it is, but they also have Komuso in them. Like I said, the Bomberman has it. The video game Shinobi 3, which was released on Sega Genesis, that one also has Komuso right in the beginning, the first scene. There's Tenchu Shinobi Taizen. That's the one. That's the Tenchu game that has the Komuso in it, and so on and so forth. So they are in a lot of like different media outlets. There's also a Komuso in Okami. I think that's all the ones that are popping up on my channel right now. I thought I had a playlist of it, but apparently the playlist is not there anymore. So there you have it. Okay, we are now at the time to give away the flute. So thank you all for being here. We will still continue the live stream afterwards for a little bit. So please, please stick around and ask your questions about Shakuhachi. So, 20 people watching now. Maybe that person is watching now as well. I would love. So here we go. The winner is play every day. Play every day. That's what I was saying by like it was kind of hard to like how am I going to announce this person? So there you are. I don't know if Play Every Day is in here, but if he is, she is, you have a week to pick up your flute. So this new flute for you, I will send it out to you as soon as we confirm everything and I get your address and all that kind of stuff. So congratulations. I hope you enjoy your new flute. Very nice. That's right. Very nice. So there we go. Wow, I have a lot of emails. Oof. Here we go. Oh, blah blah. Oh, blah blah. That's actually your other name. Okay, I see. I see. I do have a way of verifying people, so don't worry about that. I do have a way of figuring all that kind of stuff. That was a nice try, though. It was a nice try. I appreciate the try, right? That's important, too. Attempts are good. Okay, let's pull up a few more questions here too. Let's see here. I think somebody actually just ordered the yep, the fingering chart. So for that person who just ordered the fingering chart on the from the website, thank you very much. I hope it helps you. Yeah, and congratulations to that person. Very, very nice. Okay. So back to some of our questions here. I have to close down Discord because that's all of the past questions that I had for Discord. And then we can go here. There we go. Let me pull up these questions again. Okay. All right. So while I'm looking for this, let me ask you guys a question, and I can maybe put this in the form of a. How do I do this? All right. What kind of music would you like to hear played on the shakuhachi? So even if it's music that like you've already heard, you just want to hear more of that, I'm fine with that too. And then we can get those love to hear more game and thematic music. You know, some of like the game music is just done so well. Like the video game scores are incredible. There is this video game I played last year. What was it called? At any rate, it had a really beautiful theme in it and lots of flutes and stuff. Really gave like the is very evocative of the video game itself, kind of out in the wilderness and stuff like that. Blues, okay. Street Fighter, okay. I think there could be some blues pieces that could work pretty nicely. Street Fighter 2. I'm sorry. All right. What is medikari technique and how does it influence the sound of shakuhachi? So medikari technique is the shading and the brightening of the notes. So if you drop the head down, the pitch will lower and the tone also becomes darker. And if you lift the head up, that's the kari position, and it brightens the sound and it also raises the pitch. Good question. What's a blues tune? Give me a blues tune that you like. Like, tell me a blues tune that you think like, oh yeah, that would be one that sounds, really good, on shakuhachi. All right. All right, let's try this. We'll try Dust My Broom. Like, this is a classic. Elmore James. And I'll try. I might get hit with a. I see. Okay. Actually, Das Ire and Gregorian chant could work on shakuhachi. Yeah, I think it could work too, since it's so vocal, and having like a 4-part voice would be really nice. What is a GAEL? I've been trying to pick out the GAEL. I don't know what that is. Ooh, Tank from Cowboy Bebop. Nice. Minnie the Moocher. Have there been any updates on the 2.4 3D model? No, we haven't even gotten started on that. We do have a model, but we haven't started doing anything with that yet. Tank, Cowboy Bebop. Let's hear the opening. Oh, get ready for demonetized. Yeah, I remember this. Okay. Let's see if I can figure out. I don't know if there's an actual score for this. I can tell you what the main melody would be. Let's go here. I think the main melody was something like that. Something like that. That would be that main theme. Well, that would be a cool piece to do on Shakuhachi. I think it could sound pretty good too, actually, to have that piece on Shakuhachi. Let's look up Minnie the Moocher. Okay. All right, and now what I can do here is let me pull up a little tab just to hear what it sounds like. I do not know this tune at all. All right, Minnie the Moocher. First, an advertisement from these sponsors. That's what I'm actually watching. The dancing Minnie the Moocher. Okay.
Hey folks, here's a story about Minnie the Moocher. She was a low-down, hoochie coocher.
All right. Let's try that. All right. So we have that opening. Next page. There you go. There's some of it. I don't, maybe like not always, like sometimes when you have things that are very more, like a lot more angular in the playing, it's a little bit hard to get that sort of feeling in the lower register of the shakuhachi, but in the upper register it works out really nicely. And I agree with Tang here. Like if we had like a line of komuso, like let's say 10 guys all playing like this opening melody, that would be really great. I'd sponsor that event. I'd give everybody, like, you know, I'd buy everybody pizza. Oh, here it is. Okay, so this is actually fits in with a lot of things. What are the unique challenges in tuning shakuhachi for ensemble performances? So it's not just the like the fundamental notes, right? Like rotsu de chiri ro. Like those notes already have their own problems in and of themselves. But like when you're playing with an ensemble, you have to worry about the fundamental and its overtones as well. So you could be playing a note in tune, but it's not resonating with everybody else, and so that's what makes tuning so annoying. Um, to give a Western equivalent of this, of what I'm talking about, if you tune the violin perfectly and you tune the cello perfectly, and you have a piece where you have the cello playing an open C, the lowest string, and you have the violin playing an open E, it sounds terrible. So you have to actually change the tuning of the instruments in pieces like this, so that way you can utilize that open E and it doesn't sound so flubby and out of tune. So the E is I believe the E is either flattened a little bit and the cello is raised, or it's the other way around, that the cello is flattened and then the E is sharpened a little bit to give it more of that kind of brilliant sound. I don't remember the tuning because I mean, this is where I'm talking about something that happened to me like probably 14 or 15 years ago. But anyways, at any rate, that in that particular piece, you had to change the tuning slightly so that you could, sound good when you played that. And so shakuhachi is kind of like that in a sense. Is like you might have a specific note that you're playing and all that kind of stuff, and then it's not fitting, and you have to play it sharper. But then you look down at the at your tuner or whatever, and you realize you're playing really sharp. And it's like, well, it's part of the music, right? If you're playing an E flat, Ro is going to be sharp. Ro will be sharp in E flat major. Okay. A lot of the questions I'm seeing here, I don't think they're necessarily what's the theme of today's show. So let's pull up a couple more questions. If you have any more questions, put them into the chat, and then we'll call it a day. Looking at, here's person questions. Oh, have you ever experienced a breakthrough moment with the shakuhachi that transformed your playing? Yes, connecting it with other Japanese arts. So like when I was studying shomyo, when I studied calligraphy, and even doing hitayogiri stuff with Nick, hiking around Japan, all that kind of stuff. All that had major breakthroughs on my playing. Ooh, the oldest shakuhachi I've ever played. I played the one I have. I think is probably the oldest one I've personally played that I can recall. I think it's anywhere from 250 to 300 years old. It's quite old. Can you share a fun fact about the shakuhachi that most people don't know? I can tell you a fun fact about the first shakuhachi I owned. It snapped in half from the top to bottom. Our heating went out and in a Cleveland winter, and that thing just is gone. How would you play improv in nature without sounding erratic, insane, and what is that? Kitschy? Is that what, I don't even know what this word is. This must be an Australian thing. Craig, help. Let's see. I have to look this word up. All right, here's what. The term kitschy refers to something that is considered to be poor in taste due to being overly sentimental, garish, or gaudy. Yet it might also have a charm or appeal, often in an ironic or nostalgic way. Very nice. Origin. It's German, from Kitsch, originally referred to cheap or low quality art designed to appeal to popular taste. Okay, very interesting. What I would do first is I would start with just playing honkyoku, right? And playing honkyoku that you have memorized. And then after you feel comfortable playing that outside and you've done something, then you can start to improvise off of that. And the more that you do that, like the more that you build up your honkyoku repertoire and take those pieces and playing them outside, the more that your improvisation will naturally flow from it. So that's a good question. I don't think I've ever used this word in my life. The diner was filled with kitschy 1950s memorabilia like plastic jukeboxes and neon signs. Um, I can tell you what would be the worst hell for me is being stuck in a 1950s diner. Like, I think that if I'm destined for hell, that's the place for me. They'll sit me in a 1950s diner, and everybody's on like roller skates running into each other, and then you have that terrible like background piano music going the entire time. Oh, it just drive me insane. It's not. I don't know what it is about the 50s in general, but that is just not the era for me. The language nerd in me is coming out. Yeah, well, Hoenn is a great place to start for those out when you're out in the wilderness and playing. Do I know any pieces that performances that use circular breathing? No, there's no pieces that I know that require it. Okay. Well, I think today was a very successful live stream. So play every day. Make sure you reach out to me through the Discord or even just through this channel, and then we'll confirm who you are, who is playing every single day, and then we will send that flute out to you as soon as possible. And then from there, if they don't pick it up, then we do a double giveaway in January. So we'll figure out that. I doubt that we would have two people in a row who would not come and pick up their instrument, but you never know. It could happen. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Enjoy the time off. The channel will be quite silent for a little bit because I'm going to be taking my time off as well. So we'll see you guys in the new year. Peace and blessings.